A very good evening to you on this 29th day of August 2023. Trust you're doing well. Now, our reporters have been up and about gathering news for you, and we are here to bring you up to speed with everything that has been taking center stage in the country. But before we do that, let's take a look at our top stories tonight. Win for Babu Owino as court acquits him in DJ Evolve's shooting case, cites a lack of substantial evidence. Senate approves formation of National Dialogue Committee. This is expected to pave way for the commencement of bipartisan talks on areas of national interest. Human rights groups demand for apology from President William Ruto over remarks on Mumia's sugar cartels. And Kiambu Governor Kimani Wamatangi faces impeachment threats from Kiambu MCAs of alleged sluggish development and corruption in the county. Alright, welcome to the broadcast. Even Sodhiambo is our sign language interpreter tonight. My name is Odida, and we will be having a discussion later on with Professor Fred Ogola, who is a government analyst on the state of the nation. Stay tuned for that particular discussion. Catch us live on our social media platforms at KUTV Kenya, that is on YouTube, and on X at KUTV_Kenya. The hashtag is PrimeTeam News. We begin. Now, Embakasi East Member of Parliament can now breathe a sigh of relief after the court ruled in his favor in the 2020 nightclub shooting incident case, where he was charged for allegedly shooting Felix Surida, popularly known as DJ Evolve. Magistrate Bernard Ochoa ruled that Babu Owino was found innocent after the prosecution was unable to provide enough evidence. Last month, while testifying virtually in court, DJ Evolve said that he did not see the Member of Parliament with the firearm during the incident that took place in 2020, and that he only found himself in an ambulance. Alright, members of parliament constituting the National Assembly as a committee on the WorldCoin project have been informed that data collected from Kenyans through WorldCoin biometric registration is stored in Amazon servers in the United States, while how this data is used remains a contested debate. The MPs also received information that a total of 350,000 Kenyans signed up with the hybrid biometrics and cryptocurrency technology, constituting 25% of the total users of this technology worldwide. WorldCoin owners are expected in the country next week to attend a parliamentary questioning following suspension of the company's operations by Interior Cabinet Secretary Kithure Kindiki on August 2nd earlier this month. It is back to school season for high school and primary students as they resume for the third academic term after a 3-week holiday. This is the last short and busy term in the school academic calendar, with the students expected to resume studies for a period of 10 weeks before closing on 3rd of November 2023 to pave way for KCPE and KCAC national examinations that are expected to start on 6th of November and 10th of November this year, respectively.
After a 3-week holiday, school resumes and parents and students are seen flocking bookshops and bus stops in preparation for their third academic term, the last term in the school academic calendar, and which is meant for KCPE and KCSE national exams. Schools reopened on 28th of August amidst teachers' salary increment and are expected to close after a period of 10 weeks on 3rd of November 2023 to pave way for KCSE and KCPE exams that are expected to start on 10th of November 2023 and 6th of November 2023 and end on 1st December 2023 and 9th of November 2023 respectively. A section of parents have, however, complained about the difficulty in catering for their children's needs that include fare, school fees and shopping needed at school due to high cost of living.
Ningependa serikali waweze kuangalia wakati mshahara inaingia kwa bank slips and the accounts. So ndio kama ni fare hata ikipanda wazazi waweze kulipa.
Maisha ni ngumu sana ligana na vile kuko. Job imekosekana, fare imekuwa shida hata kupata hata fees. Lakini hata sasa kuelekea huko mpaka jamu ni kubwa. Magari tumengoja, tulitoka asubuhi, tulitoka kama kitu saa 3 hivi, sasa tumefika Nairobi.
Despite the harsh economic times being experienced in the country, parents are forced to dig deeper into their pockets to see their children go back to school for their third and shortest academic term. Salma Swaleh, KUTV, Nairobi.
Now, the Senate has today approved the establishment of a dialogue committee to kickstart the bipartisan talks between Kenya Kwanza Alliance and Azimio la Umoja One Kenya coalition. The motion, which was moved by the Senate Leader of Majority Aaron Cheruiyot and seconded by the Minority Leader Stewart Madzayo, was fully supported by the senators, although some of them questioned the genuineness of the committee establishment, as Ruth Wanjiru reports.
In the spirit of kickstarting the much-awaited Kenya Kwanza Azimio bipartisan talks, the senators today emulated their colleagues in the August House by approving the establishment of the National Dialogue Committee.
Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Although the senators supported the motion unanimously, a section of them questioned the genuineness behind the establishment of the committee, some citing that violence was used as a ploy by the opposition to force in the dialogue.
People to have good manners. When you go to an election, you lose an election, don't bring problems to the country. Go home.
Because the process that the minority side used, the minority coalition, was to go to the streets, demonstrate, to do very funny things so that they could push the president to accept this dialogue.
I know this is one person issue, but this is not the way that things should be resolved. If you have been defeated, you have been defeated. Go and wait for 5 years, and after that, go for another election and see whether you will go through.
These remarks were, however, disputed by Azimio leaders led by Siaya Senator Oburu Oginga, who claimed that dialogue is the only way to solve the political divide in the country.
Mheshimiwa Spika, tunaomba hususan sisi viongozi tuache uchochezi, tuache ile kamati ambayo imechaguliwa ifanye kazi yao, ilete ripoti yao ili ipate kujadiliwa, nchi ipone.
Dialogue only comes, Mr. Speaker, when there is a problem, and those who also don't know, it is through those dialogues that we have a new constitution. This constitution which you are saying you support came because of dialogue.
Although at odds about the genuineness behind the establishment of the committee, the members of the Senate seemed to agree that the dialogue should have a clear purpose.
That we become an oversight arm even of the current dialogue, so that we don't lose track, and whenever we find the committee is trying to lose track, we must discuss in this house and try to pull them together.
I also want to urge those who are going to sit in that discussion that the center of discussion should be things that affect Kenyans.
Let this dialogue committee
not discuss anything else other than issues affecting Kenyans and not the leaders in Azimio of whichever side.
Following the National Assembly and Senate approval of the establishment of the National Dialogue Committee, the committee is expected to start the bipartisan talks, after which within 60 days they will submit a report to both the rival political factions and later to Parliament. Ruth Wanjiru for KUTV.
All right, we are taking a very short break at this point. We're coming back with an interview on the state of the nation with Professor Fred Ogola. Stay with us.
Ukimwi kwa wengi ni zimwi. Vijana wanaoishi na virusi hivi wanakumbana na mengi.
Imekuwa tu ni matusi, hata ukipika chakula wengine wana reject, hawataki kula.
Ilikuwa uchungu. I went to an extent yenye nikaandika hard note, nilikuwa naenda kujiua.
Lakini
I have overcome self-stigma. I have overcome the anticipated stigma. I have overcome the external stigma.
Mradi wa Youth Care wa Naya Kenya unawasaidia vijana hawa kujikubali.
Kimenisaidia sana. It has empowered me.
Ungana nami Mutweri Eliud saa 12:30 jioni na saa 3 usiku tarehe 1 Septemba kwa makala ya Ukimwi si Zimwi.
Technology, science, innovation, ICT and research. These are the ingredients upon which the solutions to the 21st century problems are founded. In a world that is rapidly changing, it's all hands on deck to ensure a balance in all fields of life. Women, young and old, are also in the front line, breaking the glass ceiling, becoming thought leaders in the larger tech space. Not forgetting other societies marginalized. And when the tech Avengers come together, we inch closer to a much safer, efficient, and sustainable world. What we view as a norm in today's advanced world was just an idea, and for nostalgic reasons, we trace back to the iconic days to bring you the retro tech. On Tech Innovation Show, we encapsulate all the pillars of the fourth industrial revolution, decoded in a language, all for one for all. Every Monday at 8:30 as we push the mantra, keep learning something new each and every day. Only on KUTV, a new experience.
Lola is an app that gives you a chance to watch videos, listen to audios, and read articles wherever you are for free. Motivational stories, dramas, campus life, technology, lifestyle, adventure, sports, academics, jobs, entertainment, and more. Download Lola now on Play Store. All you need, you got Lola.
All right, welcome to the broadcast. Thank you for staying with us. It's time for a discussion of the night. And Professor Fred Ogola is joining us live via Zoom. We're talking about the state of the nation with Prof. And Prof, good evening. Can you hear me?
Good evening. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. Now, I would just want us to go straight to the point because we want to let you go. We understand you're supposed to be somewhere else. So I want to get your opinion. As a government expert, what's your assessment on the recent Senate approval to the establishment of a 10-member committee and this 8-member committee to help in the bipartisan talks? Maybe you could tell us how crucial are these teams in addressing the current state of affairs?
Yeah, first of all, thank you very much, our viewers, again, to the viewers of the KUTV. Mm-hmm. I think the most important thing is that you see that the members in Bomas had agreed that they have to be able to institutionalize the discussion into the constitution and to make it let's say, legitimate through passing them through the Senate, and I think that was a good step. I've heard people saying, oh, bipartisan is not good, I think, but the question is, what is the option? Because the option was that we're on the street, and I think everything was hurting. We should never, ever have gone to the street, and this is now showing there's hope that there's dialogue ongoing. And of course, what is important here is that what is the legitimizing the 8-member team that is going to sit in Bomas to discuss the matters would mean that whatever is discussed there would actually be brought again, the agendas will be brought again into Parliament and again in the Senate for approval, which means that we are looking at something that looks more of the National Accord, what happened in the 2007, 2008, when Kibaki and Raila Odinga had it. But nevertheless, I'm also foreseeing that so many people are also coming with different memorandas who are also going to present in Bomas, and this thing must be expanded to the point is that the agenda being asked for might actually force people to go into what would you call a referendum, because to be able to bring things like the leader of opposition, the issue to bring the kind of the prime secretary, the one which looks like the prime minister, the one of Musalia Mudavadi, among other things being asked, may require a referendum. So I'm just hoping that legitimizing the committee necessarily doesn't mean that you can actually interfere with the basic structure of the constitution. And most likely, we might end up with the multi-partisan talks, because I've seen so many people setting a memorandum. And of course, the possibility of now changing the constitution, you have seen, for example, Operation Gatuzi, which I'm the leader, had already proposed amendment to the constitution, which some of them are close to what is being proposed now. We saw that at the time that the issue of the Third Way Alliance had also proposed one, Punguza Mzigo, Okoa had also proposed one. You see the eminent person led by PLO Lumumba has also proposed one. I'm foreseeing a situation whereby the 8-member committee may have to listen to so many petitions, or if you like, memorandum from different Kenyans who might be looking for different things. And I'm sure that they may need really wisdom to be able to go through them so that this Bomas of Kenya thing become a real constitutional moment for all Kenyans.
Now, just before we really delve deeper into bipartisan talks, you've mentioned something of interest. Now, you've also said that we should not have gone to the streets in the first place. But now the opposition leader has already threatened again that should this bipartisan talk, the second phase of bipartisan talks fail, then the opposition will be heading back to the streets. Is this conversation really about Kenyans, the interest of Kenyans, really, at this point?
In fact, as far as I'm concerned, constitutional making process is a political process. And unfortunately, that the politicians will put their interests first, but normally the citizens' interests must always be discussed at some point, because politicians represent the citizens. So you can't knock out the citizens' interest completely. The only problem is that as politicians will be negotiating for full loaf of bread, half a loaf of bread, the citizens might actually only be looking for breadcrumbs. And in fact, that's why we have proposed at Operation Gatuzi, why don't we make this a multi-partisan approach so that it is people-led, not politicians-led. I know it's difficult because even if it is people-led, they have to come back to Parliament, because the Parliament must look at what they are doing. They have to take them to the county assembly. But nevertheless, we would like to have an independent institution like the last one, when we had the one which was headed by our Kula Court, where that it was independent, where every Kenyan could present their own petitions, and the committee of experts could be able to look at it. I am hoping that this time there will be no secretariat like the one of BBI, but nevertheless, we shall be able to have a committee of experts sitting somewhere analyzing this information and presenting to Kenyans.
Now, while you're championing for more parties to be included in these talks, and we have two warring factions, this is major factions, this is the opposition and the government, maybe you could just tell us, do you think that them being the conversation being between Kenya Kwanza and the opposition, will it not beneficially work for the betterment of the country and to bring us from now this state of the nation?
No, because you see, Kenya is a multi-party democracy. Kenya is not a bi-party democracy. Therefore, the only thing that can be done in changing the constitution or reviewing the constitution will be a multi-sectoral approach where we shall have civil society, religious leaders needs to be involved. Also, if you like, the public sector, the private sector must be involved. In fact, I'm also looking at where I'm trying to talk to young people to be able to present their memorandum as well. I'm talking to the Youth League within Operation Ugatuzi to prepare, because look at here, Constitution is for prosperity. As the older generation, I think our time is almost up, but the constitution making process should benefit the young people who are in the future. What is their concern? How would they like to see the education sector? How would they want to see employment coming in? Which sectors of the economy will benefit them? How would they like regulation taking place in their education sector? For example, we now talk about the school reopening, and there's a changing structure for funding of education. So we would like to have young people also presenting their memorandum to this forum, so it should be multi-partisan.
Now, the operation, you've also mentioned that the Operation Lindo Gatuzi that you lead is against the establishment of offices like now the office of the Prime Cabinet Secretary, which you say is not in line with the Constitution. Maybe you could tell us what is the end game for this, in this?
The end game we had was that we went to court because we discovered that the current structure, the current cabinet is unconstitutional. It is illegal because it has created offices which is not seen by the Constitution. So we're only telling the president, the best thing is to withdraw those offices like the one of Musalia Mudavadi, the one of Harriet and Monica, which were appointed advisors to the president in cabinet, which have cabinet level position and do not exist in the Constitution. We're also looking at the issue of the gender balance, which does not work here. Also, people with disability does not work. So these issues is to ensure that the team in Bomas, as we are in court, they have to look for how to ensure that they have to comply with the Constitution. And in fact, for now, they should be removed from office, awaiting the legitimization when they amend the Constitution, because you cannot be able to pass them by backdoor. Remember, in the situation now, if I look at the job description of Musalia Mudavadi, I look at the job description of Gachagua, they're the same. So it's like we're having two deputy presidents. You look at the budget for the deputy president, you look at the budget for Musalia Mudavadi, they're almost equal. So the Constitution does not foresee having two deputy presidents. At the same time, Musalia Mudavadi's position described as a prefect of the cabinet. The Constitution does not foresee any prefect of the cabinet. All the cabinet of ministers needs to report to the president directly without passing through somebody else. So we are just telling the president that structure the executive arm of the government well, because if you look at currently Kenya Kwanza, there's a lot of confusion in the cabinet because there are too many prefects. That's why you see during the cyber security attack, people are responding disconnected. Kindiki says there was no attack, there was attempted attack but failed. Then CS Owalu says we have succeeded to restore the attack. You saw during the airport, the blackout in the airport, someone says, oh, it was the Turkana. So, those confusion shows that the government, it's time to run as a government. They can't because they are wrongly constituted. The fathers of the Constitution realize that the government must be streamlined, and therefore the structure of the executive arm of the government must be streamlined, rather than having too many reporting structures that brings a lot of confusion.
Now, Prof, while we are still talking about these bipartisan talks, this is the second phase. The first one failed. Now, what key factors would you say that should be addressed in this second one now to ensure that matters are being addressed differently and we are having a more productive outcome?
Actually, even your question is interesting, but we should even look at it deeply. All these post-election negotiations began in 1992 between Raila Odinga and Moi. We also had the one between Kibaki and Raila Odinga. We had the one between Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga. Now we are having one between Raila Odinga and William Ruto. We should be asking ourselves, what are we getting wrong that after every election we should go back to negotiations? So even as we look at the second phase of these Bomas talks, we also have to know that this is not the first phase of talks. So what we need to do is that how can we bring everyone who is actually key in this negotiation at the epicenter of this discussion, so that we involve everybody rather than just involve some people, so that in the end we don't have to go back to the whole issue of bipartisan talks. I'm sure one day when you become president, you don't want to win an election and then again somebody goes to court and somebody goes to the streets and you have to negotiate with them. You have to govern and rule, so that Kenyans know that once we go for an election, we need to start having delivery, not post-election negotiations.
All right. Before we let you go, Prof, I would want you to maybe weigh in on this. The National Dialogue Committee is now set to sign a framework agreement tomorrow after this now Senate approval of this committee. From your perspective now as a government expert, what would you say should be the primary objectives of this agreement?
Of course, you see now what is happening is that there are so many people coming, the government side, which is Kenya Kwanza, are coming with their demands, Azimio is coming with their demands. They have to agree what are the issues that should be tabled. And they have to agree on how can they reach an agreement. Will it be a consensus thing? Will it be a mediator? Because if you have two sides competing, if they disagree, what happens? Even if you vote, the two sides will be voting and the vote is equal. That's why I was telling you that even we need to have a multi-partisan. How much room can they open now? Me, I'm asking them, they should sign this framework and agree for opening up of other stakeholders so that everyone should come to the table. And then they should come with the issue that should they disagree, where do we get redress? And then thirdly, where is the scope of their work? Can they go beyond the mandate that they have been given? And what is their mandate? So there are many issues there, but the issue is about scope. The issue is about timelines, because I'm sure the nation is waiting to know when will we stop the talks and when will work begin. And Kenya, I'm sure also the President, William Ruto, is concerned that when will I now start working and stop these things of negotiations? Because now Ichungwa is held up Bomas. Of course, you know, the Azimio, they are not in government, so they can sit in Bomas as long as they want. But the Kenya people need to come back to work. So you see those challenges happening. So timeline, terms and conditions, in case of disagreement, where do we go? And of course, the scope of the work should be agreed. I think those are key. And then what can be done within the Constitution, because the Constitution must give you a rule on what can you do and what can you not do. Because the Constitution is very clear on things that cannot be touched until you go to the people, because the prayer of the Constitution said, we the people of Kenya. So the sovereignty belongs to the people of Kenya. So is there something else they can do from Parliament that cannot be done if they don't go to the people? So I'm sure those are the things we are expecting tomorrow when they sign this framework. Of course, also the issue on the collapse of talks, because we have seen this happen in many talks. How can they deal with the issue when people are hardliners? How can they deal with people who are hardliners, some people not attending the meeting, some of them coming late? So there'll be a lot of tactics we are hearing. And of course, how can they shield these talks from all the outside talks, which is poisoning the talk? Like you had when Gachagua went and made statements going nowhere, then the committee went and stated clearly that, let me tell you, Mr. Gachagua, President William Ruto and Raila has agreed, we are moving on, we don't care what you're talking about. So how can they shield again the talk from the outside interference from people who might not mean well for it?
All right, Prof, I guess that now we will wait and see tomorrow. That is Professor Fred Ogolla. Prof, thank you so much for making time for us tonight. Prof, I think we will let you go. Bye-bye. Thank you so much. You're taking another short break at this point. Of course, we are coming back with so much more, so stay with us.
Are you an aspiring media practitioner, a graduate, or you just want to advance your skills in television production? Then welcome to Kenyatta University, where education meets innovation. KUTV, the premier university television station in Kenya, is now offering short courses in TV studio, field technical operations, and video editing. Through these courses, you will acquire hands-on skills on camera operations, media production, lighting techniques, audiovisual editing, and sound and visual control, and how to operate key equipment in modern TV control room. Enroll today at KUTV and discover your full potential in cutting-edge TV broadcasting. Graduates of these courses will receive professional certificates. For more information, visit our offices at KUTV Studios or call us on 020-870-4252 or 020-870-4255 or SMS us on 0739-110-544. KUTV, a new experience.
Maelfu na maelfu ya wahamiaji wakiwa na watoto kutoka nchi za Amerika ya Kati wanaendelea kuwasili kwenye mpaka kati ya Marekani na Mexico.
But folks, I'm going. Thank you very, very much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Ni habari kutoka pembe zote duniani.
People pass vuguvugu. People pass ni idea.
Tazidi ananyonya, hanyonyi vizuri, anakuwa hayuko comfortable.
Jeshi la Jamhuri ya Kidemokrasia ya Kongo linapambana na waasi wa ADF.
Kwa sasa wanatoa wito kwa mashirika, makampuni na vile vituo vya uchukuzi.
Mambo mengi yatakwenda kama yalivyopangwa.
Hapa ni kuna mmoja wa viongozi wa chama cha wavuvi katika eneo hili.
Zaidi tunajaribu kuwapa chanjo ili ina boost ama inanyanyua kinga ya mwili, ndio inaenda kupelekea kupambana na virusi.
Ni duniani leo, Jumatatu mpaka Ijumaa, moja kwa moja kutoka VOA Swahili, Washington DC.
Our county has an effective waste management system when it comes to household garbage collection. But for agricultural waste is largely left uncollected. So we saw that as a health hazard, and we decided to participate in environmental sanitation through collection of that waste and bringing it to our recycling ground, where now we take all that crop waste and animal manures, the different types of animal manures, and we take them through a composting process, which we call windrow composting process.
I'm Associate Professor in the Institute of Philosophy of Jagiellonian University in Krakow, Poland, and I'm the main coordinator of the Cafe project, which is being here hosted by Kenyatta University.
My name is Eva Hudoba. I am a project manager in this consortium. Keep watching cutting edge research at Kenyatta University Television.
Thank you for staying with us. You're watching KUTV Prime Time News. Let's continue with our coverage. Now, the Law Society of Kenya, LSK, Amnesty International Kenya, Kenya Human Rights Commission, and Haki Africa have faulted President William Ruto for making remarks regarding Mumias Sugar, which they said are more threats to those involved in court cases over the ownership and control of the sugar company. President Ruto had on Sunday said that he will deal with cartels in the sugar industry. Take a look.
Human rights groups in the country, including the Kenya Human Rights Commission, the Law Society of Kenya, Amnesty International Kenya, and Haki Africa, are demanding that President William Ruto apologize for the remarks he made on Monday regarding his plans to deal with individuals who have filed cases in court over the ownership and control of Mumias Sugar Company. President Ruto on Monday said that if those who had filed cases on matters of ownership of the sugar manufacturing company don't vacate and withdraw the cases, then his government would deal with them.
Hatuwezi kuendesha hiyo mambo kama serikali. We have to agree. Serikali hatuwezi kuendesha biashara. Tumejaribu, mara tunaleta milioni 500 inazama. Tunaleta bilioni 1 inazama. Tunaleta ingine. Si unajua sasa hiyo ni Waswahili wanasema, ama ni watu wa Kiingereza wanasema, doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results is madness.
According to the lobby groups, President Ruto should let the court take its course and refrain from making roadside statements implicating individuals in criminal activities. Additionally, the human rights group says that the threats in court by the president came at a time when businessman Jaswant Singh Rai, who holds a major stake in the sugar manufacturing, was mysteriously abducted by unknown people in Nairobi last week and later released on Sunday. On Sunday, while in Kakamega County, the head of state promised the Western region that his administration will ensure the sugar problem is done away with, declaring that he would personally deal with sugar cartels and that no one would go to the region and take over.
There must be a management issue. So we will sort that out and we will agree on the formula that will take us forward. Kampuni yetu ya Nzoia hapa, kampuni ya Mumias, ile ya Sony, ile ya Miwani, ile ya Mohoroni, ile ya Chemelil, hizo kampuni zote tutahakikisha kwamba tumezipangia vizuri. And I want to promise you, this is the government that will sort out this sugar problem in this region, because we have made a decision that we must do it.
The sugar industry in Kenya is believed to have been affected by corruption and fraud, with sugarcane farmers' decline having been left at the mercy of unscrupulous cartels who have taken the sector hostage, turning the multi-billion subsector into a field of misery. Dorothy Musyoka, KUTV.
While President William Ruto today visited Vihiga County, where he launched various projects, including Emuhaya Sub-County Hospital in Vihiga County, the president, who is on a 5-day development tour in the western region, was accompanied by his deputy Rigathi Gachagua and was received by different leaders of the Mulembe community. Earlier, the president held his first cabinet meeting with cabinet secretaries in Kakamega State Lodge. Julian Ngaki has more in this report.
President William Ruto has continued his development tour in the western region. Today, the head of state toured Vihiga County, where he opened the Emuhaya Sub-County Hospital in the county. The president was accompanied by his deputy Rigathi Gachagua and was received by leaders of Mulembe Nation, including the Speaker of the National Assembly, Moses Wetangula, and Prime Cabinet Secretary, Musalia Mudavadi. Addressing the residents of Emuhaya, President Ruto condemned the recent countrywide demonstrations, saying that the only solution to lower the cost of living is by equipping farmers with necessary enforcement to increase food production. The head of state promised to balance the interests of consumers and producers through funding.
Hakuna vile tutapunguza gharama ya maisha kwa maandamano ama kwa kuvaa masufuria. Tutapunguza gharama ya chakula kwa kushughulika na wakulima. Na mimi nataka niwashukuru nyinyi wakulima. Leo katika baraza la mawaziri ambayo tumetoka saa hizi, tumekubaliana ya kwamba tutatoa ardhi ya serikali kuzalisha mbegu ya mahindi zaidi.
On matters education, President Ruto said that his government has channeled 1 billion shillings to cater for the promotion of teachers. Ruto also said that his government has successfully dealt with challenges surrounding the CBC curriculum, adding that pupils will now have a smooth learning.
Nilisema hao walimu ni watu wazuri. Promotion ya walimu haijafanyika miaka 13. Nimewapatia pesa shilingi bilioni 1 kuhakikisha kwamba walimu karibu 30,000 wamepata promotion. Si ndio? Niliwaambia vile vile mambo ya CBC. Si mnajua CBC ilikuwa na matatizo? Niliwaeleza kabla ya uchaguzi ya kwamba hii CBC tutaikalia mpaka tuinyoroshe.
Speaker of the National Assembly Moses Wetangula expressed his gratitude towards the head of state for having the region's interest at heart in terms of development.
Amekuwa Bungoma, ako Vihiga, kesho ako Kakamega, kuhakikisha Western region haiachwi nyuma kwa maendeleo. Mambo ya barabara, mambo ya maji, mambo ya elimu, mambo ya kila kitu. Ile tu tunawaomba wananchi ni tusimame pamoja kama kitu kimoja.
Ruto is expected to conclude his tour in the western region tomorrow. Julian Ngaki, KUTV.
On to other news, the National Assembly Committee on Public Investment, Education and Governance today inspected the Kenyatta University Teaching, Referral and Research Hospital following a petition by the Kenyatta University Students Association, who claim that the hospital management has refused to bring back the hospital to the institution. Edward Nyamo with more in this report.
Led by Bumula Member of Parliament Wanami Wamboka, Public Investment, Education and Governance Committee visited Kenyatta University Teaching and Research Institute to inspect the facility. The visit comes after the student leadership at Kenyatta University submitted a petition to the two houses complaining of the facility not being part of the university. On behalf of the Kenyatta University Student Association, Jafar Kasai and Thiong'o Moirore filed the applications. The petitioners claimed that despite having a sophisticated hospital on campus, the university relies on external medical facilities to instruct its medical students. Wamboka highlighted that the tuition halls constructed in the institutions were not operational, calling for immediate intervention to solve the issue.
I think immediately the Parliament resumes, National Assembly, we are going to ask Parliament as a matter of urgency. We discuss and debate the state of the referral hospital, and we will be seeking concurrence of Parliament, National Assembly, so that it can return back to the university. Even as the inquiries go on, we must give back the children of Kenya the dignity that the founders of this dream envisaged.
Additionally, the committee has called on landowners who have acquired Kenyatta University land unconstitutionally to return back the land, which accumulates to about 32 hectares.
Shamba mara mbili. Moja imeingiwa na squatters karibu ekari 30. Wale squatters wale wa ukweli. Si ndio? Kuna ingine mabwenyenye, wezi, fraudsters, wakora wamekuja wamechukua shamba ya university, wamejenga hapo manyumba, magorofa. We are going to be seeking recommending to Parliament hiyo manyumba tutaangusha.
The visit comes days after the Senate Committee on Health visited the institution concerning the petition submitted to them. The two committees are now expected to give a report on their findings. Edward Nyamo, KUTV.
Right, Kenyatta University Vice Chancellor Professor Paul Wainaina has led a number of other stakeholders to commend the innovation of equipment for medical technology. The VC has said that the technology is critical for the university as far as coming up with innovative equipment is concerned. Take a look.
Forever, solidarity forever.
Yet again, the Kiambu County Assembly is embroiled.
Sorry about that. Now, a host of Kiambu MCAs have threatened to impeach Governor Kimani Wamatangi of alleged misappropriation of county funds, staff mistreatment and stalling of development projects. Out of the 4.4 billion allocated to the county, less than 8% has been used so far, and Kiambu MCAs are expressing their disappointment with Wamatangi's administration. The governor has, however, rubbished these allegations, terming them as a witch hunt perpetrated by his political enemies.
Forever, solidarity forever.
Yet again, the Kiambu County Assembly is embroiled in a circus, pitting the sitting Governor Kimani Wamatangi and a host of MCAs.
Kiambu must work. In the name of the Lord, Kiambu must work.
MCAs in Kiambu are contemplating fresh impeachment attempts against the governor over what they term a sluggish progress of infrastructural development. Out of the 4.4 billion earmarked for development in the county, only 8% of it has been used, and as the financial year is in the final stretch, the MCAs are wary of the possibility of refunding the money back to the national treasury.
The figures on the development absorption points to a lot of failures across all the departments. Failing to spend on the development means Kiambu residents did not get the much needed services. Residents can attest to this. The first financial year of 2022-2023 has gone to waste, and as such, we will not allow the executive to waste another year.
Kiambu MCAs are also faulting the governor over imminent corruption, pointing case the chicks distributed across the country by the county government, while one goes for 100 shillings in the market. In county books, the price is 1,000 shillings for each chick.
And the Auditor General to corroborate and do a forensic audit of all the procured projects and programs in this county of Kiambu. I.e., or for example, there is a chicks. They are distributing chicks. A chick is going for 100 shillings in Karo in Naivasha, but in papers it is going for 1,000 shillings.
The county lawmakers are also lamenting over blatant mistreatment of county staff, which has prompted the resignation of critical workforce. Moreover, the MCAs complain of being sidelined by the governor and their place taken by private employees drawn from the Wamatangi Foundation.
This amoral kind of government called Wamatangi Foundation. They are undermining MCAs in their wards, and we are calling him to stop and let the MCA do their jobs in their wards.
By the grace of Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, attempts to dethrone Wamatangi early this year were successfully thwarted. Kiambu MCAs now say they are willing to rekindle the contest with the governor until the silent engine starts running in the county. Muneneweru, KUTV.
Now, pointing to the popularity of the improvement of M-Pesa facility belonging to Safaricom, businesses have tapped a 6.2 billion Kenyan shillings Fuliza overdraft in 2 months after Safaricom announced a partnership with KCB Bank Kenya on May 4th to roll out Fuliza ya Biashara. Meanwhile, State Department for Housing and Urban Development Principal Secretary Charles Hinga wants the national government to ensure traders utilize modern markets that have been set up in the counties. This and more in tonight's Business Wrap.
Businesses have tapped 6.2 billion Fuliza overdraft after Safaricom partnered with Kenya Commercial Bank to roll out Fuliza Biashara in May 4th, a service that allows business owners to access unsecured credit by overdrawing on M-Pesa business deals to cover short-term cash flow shortfalls. KCB has stated that the service has increased the profile of Fuliza since 2019, which only allowed individuals to seek Fuliza money. Safaricom's Fuliza Biashara allows overdrafts of between 1,000 shillings to 400,000 with an interest-free period of 24 hours. For amounts outstanding beyond 24 hours, customers inquire a 2% daily access fee for up to 29 days. Business owners are allowed to draw multiple overdrafts for as long as it takes within their limits. Elsewhere, the Principal Secretary of State Department for Housing and Urban Development, Charles Hinga, is urging the national government to take over the role of ensuring traders operate in modern markets that have been set up in the counties by the government. Hinga is advocating for this step to ensure that roadside traders secure slots in the modern markets, a move that is crucial in eradicating cartels. At the same time, according to the latest report released by the Sacco Society's Regulatory Authority, SASRA, unremitted funds owed to 80 regulated SACCOs has amounted to 2.70 billion shillings in 2020 compared to 3.40 billion shillings in 2021. Cynthia Nderitu, KUTV.
All right, that story by Cynthia Nderitu is taking us to our third break. We're coming back with sports. Stay with us.
Kutoka kuwa jamii ya kuhamahama na sasa kujumuisha kilimo katika mitindo yao ya maisha. kwenye toleo la kaunti ya Narok. Hii ni Boresha Kilimo, kwani afya bora ni kilimo bora.
Kwani kilimo ndicho huboresha maisha.
My name is I'm Associate Professor in the Institute of Philosophy of Jagiellonian University in Krakow, Poland, and I'm the main coordinator of the CAFE project, which is being here hosted by Kenyatta University.
My name is Odida. I am a project manager in this consortium. Keep watching cutting-edge research at Kenyatta University Television.
Our county has an effective waste management system when it comes to household garbage collection. But for agricultural waste, it's largely left uncollected. So we saw that as a health hazard, and we decided to participate in environmental sanitation through collection of that waste and bringing it to our recycling ground, where now we take all that crop waste and animal manures, the different types of animal manures, and we take them through a composting process, which we call windrow composting process.
Welcome back. Now, in the world of sports, Harambee Starlets tactician Godfrey Oduor alias Solo has cut ties with Starlets 6 months after his appointment to the role and joined Football Kenya Federation Premier League side Nzoia Sugar. Oduor, who took over the mantle from Charles Okere, led the national women's team in March 2023 and was to lead Harambee Stars for the Women Africa Cup of Nations WAFCON qualifiers. The former KCB head coach takes over from Salim Babu, who ditched the stadium best outfit to become an assistant coach at Kenya Police. Right, that brings us to the end of our bulletin tonight. Thanks a lot for keeping us company right here at KUTV Primetime News. Stay tuned for subsequent bulletins and do enjoy the rest of your week. My name is Ann Odida. I'm in the company of Ivan Sodhiambo. Until next time, have a good time.
Are you an aspiring media practitioner, a graduate, or you just want to advance your skills in television production? Then welcome to Kenyatta University, where